and I think we are live,
Oh,
and
yeah. Okay.
we'll find out in 1 second.
All right.
Um,
So if I can't wait for this to get started, Arnie V.
I think let me check. I'm gonna check to see if anybody's on. Yes, nobody's on. Yes, yet. So I want to double check to make sure that we are going. It went through good. Let's see here. Yeah, I think we're good. Let's see here. Yeah, I can see me.
Okay, there you go.
All right, there we go. We got messages coming in. What's going on, guys?
Hi, guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. We're here with Nerdy Girl Comics. We're gonna have some fun today. I'm exhausted.
Happy Saturday.
How are you? How is everything going with you with the whole I guess this whole virus and lockdown and everything?
I mean, we're just staying home. We haven't gone anywhere. No one in, no one out. Like pretty isolated, honestly. I always say like I miss conventions because I crave human interaction. Like I'm very much an outgoing people person, so this has been really hard.
No, it's definitely it's something that I don't think a lot of people have really ever gone through. I mean, I don't remember the last time that something similar like this has happened, you know. But you're in Florida, correct?
Yeah, down in Sarasota.
How's the weather been during lockdown for you?
Beautiful. Like I'm from near Buffalo, New York, and I was just talking to one of my friends this morning, and I'm like, thank goodness we moved to Florida. And at least this is where I'm isolated with beautiful weather and a pool. And
right.
Thank goodness we live in an era where everything is so technology based.
Right.
Like I can have my packages picked up for the post office. So I've still been selling on eBay all the time. I can have my groceries delivered and I don't really have to leave. We can have alcohol. I can have alcohol delivered.
Yeah, which is
winning.
I know that I got my drink right here, and I know you're a fan of Tito's. So
huge Tito's fan.
We got some
cheers,
lemonade and stuff. So cheers.
Tito's and soda.
Tito's and soda. Hey guys, thanks so much for showing up, guys. I see we have 14 people in the room right now.
Good morning.
Fantastic.
Good afternoon.
Hope everybody's doing well. I see your unicorn floating in the background every now and then through the water in your pool.
I'm like, I think I'd rather be outside by the pool than stuck in the house. It's so nice out. And we're gonna have storms soon. There's some like weird storms brewing. So we always get like a lot of rain.
Yeah, well that's Florida for you, right? I mean, I know every time we go down to that Disney, it's, you know, you never know, you get that snow
right. Which way's it gonna go?
Yeah. And it's funny because I feel like in Florida it's like you can get like a 10-minute storm and then it's gone.
And then you're done. Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say it's like 10-minute rain.
Right. I'm in New England, so for me right now, I mean, yesterday was gorgeous. It was like 81. Today is on the cooler side, so it's definitely more of a sweatshirt weather, you know, long sleeve and stuff. But anyways, hey guys. All right, so we got 15 people in the room. We're gonna start to just kind of chat about what we came here to chat about, which is comics, video games, and anything else you guys want to talk about. As you guys know, Nerdy Girl Comics has a huge presence in the Instagram community, in the eBay community, just I think all around when it comes to that specific, you know, when it comes to books and video games and stuff. You just have built your own empire out of it, you know.
Right.
I think that a lot of people are very jealous of what you have because it's just such a great gig. You know, tell me a little bit about, I guess, how did you get started? How long? Just tell me about what got you into it.
I've been doing this for like 15 years, but I've really become kind of more prevalent in the hobby maybe the last like 3 or 4 years. my boyfriend was doing it when we met like 15 years ago, and I never read a comic book before. I never looked at a comic book. Like that is not my, like that wasn't my thing at all. I was like in the bars. I wasn't reading comic books.
Right, right.
And even then I was like, you do what? Like, who does that?
Right.
And then I started seeing how much these books can sell for. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. And then I started learning about the history of the books. And I still don't read comic books, but I very much appreciate the art, like especially Golden Age art. It's so just timeless and historical. Like so many covers during World War II, if you go back and you look at the Timelies and the DCs and even some of like the Naders, like you can see what was happening in the United States during the wars, because it was like these precursors, and like this is when we're fighting the Japs, this is when we're fighting the Nazis. And I just love that side of it. I've always loved history. So that drew me in, and that still draws me in, honestly.
Well, it's kind of, I think it was, or it's a way to kind of explain what's going on in the world, but in a, you know, not such a depressing way, you know, that people can still get involved and get to know about stuff and not feel like it's, you know, like I feel like newspapers and the news, like when you watch the news, is everything's just bad, you know. And I think in comics you get a different take on what's going on that just doesn't completely bring you down, you know. That's awesome. So what are you right now, mainly what are you concentrating on as far as, I guess, your business? Like what is your...
Well, I'm trying to move out of a lot of Golden Age, unless it's like big Golden Age keys. I know that people still love them and collect them. I just feel like we're in a very different market now where the age of people is changing. And I'm moving more into Silver Age and Bronze Age. She's gonna have books. And I've made a huge splash in video games. And for me, video games are super nostalgic because I didn't get down on comic books, but I played video games all the time when I was like probably 10 to like 13, 14. So that brings me back. And I've been having a lot of fun with that. It's like when, I don't know, it's like a honeymoon phase in a relationship, right? Where like everything is so fresh and brand new and exciting, and these games are hard to find. It's not like a Fantastic Four 1 where you can look on the market, and if you're willing to pay the price, you have your pick of 10, 15, 20, 30 copies.
Right.
In video games, in some cases, there's one or 5 is a lot of copies on the market at one time on a lot of these Nintendo games. And so it's really exciting to go hunt them down.
Now, when would you say that the whole, I guess, the whole market of video games really got kicked off, as far as, you know, as far as collecting and getting them graded and all that? Because I feel like that's not really something that's been around for a very long time, like comic books has been. It's really new.
No. People have been collecting video games for a long time. There's always been like a small handful of people that have collected them, but a new grading company came on the scene 2 years ago, Weta.
Yep.
And they like had the foresight to say, hey, I want to talk to these auction houses, and I want to talk to Heritage, and we think that you guys should start auctioning video games. And in my opinion, like once an auction house gets involved, it's kind of like game over. Watch what happens and watch the magic kind of start to explode. Just because like now it's part of pop culture. Now you're getting crossover from other hobbies. Like Heritage is such a huge auction house, and they sell so many different things. You get like coin people, you get art guys, you get comic book people. So you have like all of this crossover, and then you see things start to happen, and it's just kind of crazy to watch. Even 2 years ago, if you go back and you look in the old archives and you look at what some of these games sell for 2 years ago versus today, it's mind blowing.
Now, speaking of that, So when you first start, how long ago did you first start selling video games?
Maybe a year ago.
Okay, and let's say a year ago, what was your highest selling game at that point?
I sold in San Diego. I sold a couple games for 10,000. Actually, I sold one game for $10,000. I can't say what it was because I told the guy I wouldn't talk about it.
Okay, no problem.
But I sold a game for 10,000 and I only brought maybe 7 games with me. It was the first time I'd ever brought video games to a show, I think. And I was like, oh, this is cool. It was someone who'd never bought a video game before. And I've done that a couple of times where I've done that a few times where I've brought people in that they're like, what am I doing? Why should I do this? Like, why video games? And it's kind of like, why not? Because if you look at the generation of people that's coming, it's video game kids. They aren't reading comic books so much. In 20 years from now, this is such a video game like era that we're in right now. My daughter plays Fortnite and Minecraft daily.
Right, yeah.
And it's cool for girls, right? It's like a thing where it's not like a guy thing. Because I think in comic books, I'm an anomaly, right? Like there are not very many female dealers and there's not a lot of high-end female collectors.
True. It is true.
And it's different in video games. Like there's a couple of girls in video games that have freaking badass collections.
So going back to, a year ago, you sold the game. What would you say the difference is a year later as far as what you can get for, similar books compared to what you got a year ago for? Has there been a big difference in the price?
One in the same grade sold for I think 20,000.
Oh wow. So that is a huge difference.
The swing is ginormous. And I think that it's just people coming in that get excited. They have money. They want to dive into this and they're willing to pay the prices because look what's happened in a year. What happens in 5 years?
Right. No, I completely agree with you. And I think I told you before when we spoke in the past is I really wish, and I had the idea way in the past of, I really should collect video games, try to find unopened ones and go about it because I didn't know that you even get them graded back then which I don't even know if you could years back when I thought about it. And then I never did it, which now I'm like, why didn't I? Because now I'm kicking myself in the head because I should have. But you
didn't think about it. The hobby wasn't what it is now.
Yeah. And like I told you, it's and I'm sure and you feel the same way. It's one of those things where any venture you get into as far as collecting, it's unless you're doing it for yourself, if you're doing it as a business or you're trying to, make a profit out of it in any way, it's you just don't know. Is it going to be good? Is it going to be have good? And brings me to my next question to you, which would be is how is this, or if it's even affecting you, having this whole thing going on with COVID, has it affected your business? How is it affecting you? How are you doing things different?
Business is great. Like, awesome. I have to say, like, prices are stronger than ever. I had a bunch of stuff just end in the heritage auction, and I was blown away by what some of the stuff sold for. I had a book that I kicked myself for not selling in New York last year. I had a 40,000 offer on it, and I said no. Wow. And I should have, I looked back right before the auction, and I was like, shit, I really should have taken that offer. And it went off, and it sold for like 55.
Wow.
And I was like, well, that worked out. And it's a gamble, right? But when the stock market is weird and uncertain and the economy is weird, people look for other things to put their money into, and they look for collectibles, and they look for key books.
True.
And it was an adventure of 40. And I think that people are bored in their home and they want to spend money because they're not going out and spending it. I mean, there's online shopping, but they're not going to conventions. So they don't have, they have a convention budget that they can't spend. So why not shop online and shop on eBay or bid in the auctions? I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah. Well, it's, I mean, right now, like you said, since a lot of people had to stay home and they
Yeah.
couldn't go out, a lot of, I mean, I know myself, it's, if I need something, I'm going to find it online. I'm
Right.
going to try to avoid going out. I'm going to get, like you said, you're going to get your groceries, you're going to get all that stuff. So I guess it would make sense that people are spending a little more money on, different things they need. And so I guess your business is
Not traveling.
booming,
Right.
which is awesome. Now,
Yeah.
what are you really focusing on as far as when you sell? Are you doing it more? Is your majority private? Are you doing the auction houses? Are you doing are you doing eBay? What is your main, I guess, your main go-to?
I'm doing a ton on eBay. I have weekly auctions running all the time. Tomorrow I have a bunch of video games. It's only video games I have ending.
Awesome.
I think I have, I don't know, 15 or 20 games up, and they're all complete in box. They're not sealed, so they're going to be way cheaper to buy than a sealed version of it. So I have all those ending. I try to keep things going every week. And then I'm consigning a lot to auction just because the prices are so strong. And it brings me other crossover stuff. But all my lower end stuff, and then I always sell stuff privately. I always move keys privately. I do trades or, a
Well,
little of everything, I guess.
I bought stuff from you, so I know that direct from you. So, which is always awesome. So going back to heritage, because I've always been intrigued by auctions. It's, I guess, would you say that's kind of like, I feel like with auctions, in my mind has always been like scary. So it's like, am I gonna lose if I do something there?
Yeah, it's a gamble.
A lot of people end up making triple or even more of what they would have made going a different route. What is, or if you can tell me at least, what are like some of the top books or top items you've sold at auction, and what were they, and what did they go for?
Well, the Adventure 40 was a great example, right?
Right.
Where I was so nervous and I was kicking myself. And then it went off and it was like, holy shit, this is amazing. And it's a gamble. Like, I've sold stuff and I've taken baths on stuff. I had an auction a few months ago where we lost tens of thousands.
Wow.
And it happens though. Like, you win and you lose. And sometimes it's like, I've had this book for a long time. No one's interested in it. I'm going to send it, cut my losses, and pour that money into something else. So because I don't like having like the same inventory for a long time.
Right,
it's not
right.
fun for people to come see me at a show and say, wait, you had these books like 3 shows ago or 2 shows ago. What are you doing? So I'll get rid of it. I'll eat the loss and I'll find something else to make it up on.
So to that point, so I know you don't have to keep that same inventory. What books, what games do you, regardless of what it is, would you just continue to get as many as you can, and because you're gonna just, no matter what, you're gonna sell? What would you say those are for you?
Super Mario Bros. For Nintendo, like Super Mario 1, 2, and 3, like that trilogy is badass, and everyone who's going to collect video games should have it in some form, whether you have to go CIB or low grade sealed or high grade sealed.
Right.
Get it out of it. Zelda is so classic. For books, Journey into Mystery 83. Anyone who knows me knows I love Thursday.
Yep.
I'll always shop a Journey 83. All the Silver Age keys, Amazing Fantasy 15. Everyone always needs that. New people coming into the hobby that have money to spend will say, okay, what should I buy? Amazing Fantasy 15 is as timeless for Silver Age as Action 1 is for the Golden Age. It's like the Grail book of the Silver Age because it started so much.
That is awesome. And those are those are a lot of books that I will always get to see from afar.
One day you'll have one.
Hopefully one day I'll own some of those, but they're just so cool to see. And like you said before, I know that you said you weren't a big reader. The art is really what caught your attention, and it's really how I myself collect a lot of different things also is, when I used to go to New Comic Book Day, because
Right.
I haven't had one of those in since
Months.
I remember now. I would get some books that I know were, had the potential of, I heard this, I heard that, but a lot of the things that I buy are because I like the art. I look at the cover, I like the artist, I like the
cool.
done. And I think that's what's so cool about comic books and being a collector. It doesn't always have to be about. It's funny because, like you said, it's when you're putting a value on something, it really to you might have something that's, you might not think that it's really that valuable, but then you have, for me, that book could just be, oh, that's an awesome book, I want it.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's so cool about the collecting. Having that said, I know that you brought a few items to show off.
For sure.
You want to start to show off? How about we start off with one or two games? What do you got?
All right. So I did Legend of Zelda. This game just sold, like this same grade, same version, because there's different versions of games too. And I feel like that's like another whole discussion, because I can go off on that for hours.
Yeah.
But Legend of Zelda sealed 9.4. This game just sold at auction. Not this is mine, but the same game sold for like 33,000.
Wow, that is ridiculous. Now, how hard is it to get a 9.4 for that game? Like, it's what'd you say?
It's not easy.
Oh, okay. I thought you said it's really easy. I was gonna say, really? What? Okay, so when you want to get a game, let's say there's a game you want. So, for example, you want to get a Zelda, you want to get a high grade. Does it take you? Do you obviously you've built up a lot of connections, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
For a high grade like that, I'm guessing you're going through quite a few sources, making phone calls, sending messages, trying to make deals. Do you straight out buy? Do you do trades? How do you do that?
On games, I've bought pretty much all the games. I haven't done a lot of trades. I have traded with comic book people. Tyson too, hell yeah. Tyson's so good. I should have brought one out and I didn't.
Well, Tyson, I mean, Tyson's, that's just like a classic, and I feel like, and it's funny because you're mentioning games that I've owned, sealed, and obviously, but I was a kid. So as a kid, you're going to open them up and not think anything of it. And I've always been intrigued by, you have these guys, they have these comic books and these games. They are in just perfect condition, and they've had them since they were kids. And I'm like, how in the world, as a kid, did you keep that in such good shape? Because I know that me as a kid, if I had it was bent, it was torn. I wrote in it,
So I guess that's the beauty, right, of sealed games, because they're so hard to find. But the other side of that, if you can't afford the sealed games, go find high-grade copies of complete in-box games, because they're hard to find. Like you said, everyone opened them. They dug through the manual to look up all the codes and everything else, and they didn't keep them nice, because usually it was kids.
Right.
So if you can't get a sealed copy, go high grade CIB. And there's rare instances where there's maybe only a couple period of these games that even exist, even complete in box. So you kind of have to take what you get. But when you have the option to be picky, choose high grade over a mid grade or a low grade copy for sure.
Definitely. Now tell me, what is the difference, I guess, as far as...
I'm live. Sorry. No, I'm listening. No. I'm live on YouTube.
No worries.
Do you need something? Okay, good morning. Okay.
What is the difference as far as value when you have when you get graded a opened video game compared to a sealed video game? Like same game, they look in the same condition. The only difference is one is sealed, one isn't. What would you say the difference is as far as value when you have?
Huge difference in value. Okay, so I have a sealed Hangtime Mario, right?
Awesome.
It's super rare because it has a hang tab on back. There's less than 15 copies known that are sealed with the hang tab.
Oh, wow.
And I wouldn't sell this game for less than, I probably wouldn't sell it for less than 100,000, honestly. But you can go out and you can get hang tab copies of this game complete in box for 1,000 or under. Like in some cases, if you get like a mid-grade copy, you can pay a couple $100 for one. So
wow.
There's such a huge, and that comes down to scarcity too, right? Because there's so few. Where in the world you sealed? I'm looking at the comments.
I see that. You're so much more than me.
Nerdy Father is kind of in a smaller percentage of people where he had the foresight to save his games to resell later.
Right.
A lot of kids wouldn't think about that.
No, definitely not. I mean, I wish I did. Like I said, but it was never a thought. I mean, who would have thought? It's like,
who thought so?
I feel like I look at things now and I'm like, should I keep this? Is this, random item going to be worth so much money later on, or am I just being stupid, So back to the games. I mean, I've always been intrigued. I'm intrigued by games. I really am. I think I've talked to you a few about it, and I really would love to get into collecting them now, which I should have done a long time ago. But I guess my big thing that I guess I have a hard time with is, how do you know that you're getting a sealed game when it looks sealed? Like, what should you look for? Like, I know, like, I feel like I've seen some games for sale that they look sealed, but they're not. They're not new. They're not,
because there are some games out there where the top was slit open and it gives the illusion that it's sealed. There's someone on eBay that's doing this a lot, and he's a really shady seller.
Really?
Where if you look really fast, I have a friend who he scammed out of like $1,500.
Oh, wow.
Unfortunate. But he'll post pictures and it looks like it's a sealed copy, and he'll be weird about his wording and say it's like new in box. But so they'll split the top open, and usually when a game has been open, and it's really hard to see sometimes, and it's taken me a long time, and I still don't always catch reseals unless it's like an obvious one. Like, games always have an H seam across the back usually.
Okay.
Or they'll go this way on Super Nintendo, and that comes from factory. So if there's no seam on the back in 95% of cases, then it's a reseal. And then there's vent holes, and it's so tricky. Melissa, can you let him in, please? It's like chaos in my house right now. Sorry, guys. But just be mindful of that. And when a game has been open, you'll see a color crease across the top edge. And it's like a white line because it's impossible to stop that color from breaking when you open the game.
Oh, okay. That's good to know, because, I mean, I know that I'm sure there's a lot of people.
Tomorrow they're ending. Yeah. They're all super high grade, the ones I have on eBay right now.
And tell us your how do we get to your eBay? What's your name on eBay?
It's under Filter 81.
Under Filter 81. Guys, go check it out. It's a lot of stuff on there.
And if you go in my Instagram bio, there's a link right to eBay in there.
Oh, perfect. So guys, go to her Instagram, go check out eBay,
favorite seller.
buy some stuff. Hey guys, so before we continue, like I said before, and one of my story posts, I do have some freebies to go around. I'm going to ask you guys some questions. Well, I won't be asking you guys some questions. Actually,
on the spot at the last minute and told me trivia.
I did message her like 20 minutes before and was like, I'm going to have you ask.
By the way, you're doing trivia.
I know, we're going to do trivia. Wow. So I have 3 books. The first one I'm going to do today, and I'll do 2 more later on. It's going to be, the first one's going to be number 1, Return of the Jedi, number 1. I have a couple of these. And in my opinion, it's a great book. So, and you know what? It's free. So no complaining. All right, guys. So Nerdy Girl Comics is going to ask you guys a question. First one to answer is right. Guess this book.
What's my favorite Golden Age book? And you'll know this if you follow me on Instagram or you know me. My personal favorite Golden Age book.
Everybody's jumping on their Instagram right now and scrolling.
I should delete my stories.
Yeah, I know. Seriously, come on, guys. Who's gonna get this? Who's gonna get the answer right?
No. Yeah. Alex, the comic hoarder, is right. It's Cap 1.
Oh, Cap 1. All right, Alex, you got this. That's all. Look at that book. That's an awesome looking cover. Like the art behind that book is awesome. Hey, Alex, before I continue, go ahead and send me a direct message on Instagram, letting me know you want this one. The way I can go ahead and get your info and send this out to you. Okay. Now that book that you just showed me, what is that grade?
It's a 5.0.
What does it go for?
It used to sell for like 150, 160. There's been a little pullback. But it's like 140, 130.
Now, tell me, what is it about that book that just
I mean, stop it. Look at the history on it, first of all. So it's cool because it shows Captain America punching Hitler in the face.
That's it. I love it.
This predates right before we went into World War II. So it was like a precursor, and it was like comic books' way of telling people this is what's coming. So I just love the history, and it's just such great art. I mean, Cap beating Hitler's ass. Does it get any better than that? Truly.
I will say that it's one of the books that is on my list to hopefully one day. Now, okay, so that was a 5, grade 5, 5.0. If I were to find a 1, what would that go for?
Like 40,000, probably.
Oh, that's it? Oh, all right. So
that's like nothing, right?
Yeah, nothing.
It's weird because the mid-grade copies, it's funny. Low-grade copies are always a great buy. Like, I sell a lot of mid-grade books, but your best buys are always going to be like low grade or high grade because your pool of people that are buying it on low-grade copies is so much bigger.
Exactly.
Right? So you'll always have a market for low-grade books, and then high-grade, people will pay whatever they can to get a nice copy.
Yep. No, I agree. I completely agree with you. By getting only high grades, you are going to limit yourself. I mean, as far as selling, right? You're going to limit yourself to the amount of people that can afford to spend that much money on a book. But you're going to have, like I said, a lower grade, like myself. I have a Amazing Spider-Man 14, a 1.5.
Yeah.
And for me, it's a low grade, but you know what? It's for my PC. So I don't care. The fact I just own it and I'm happy, Yeah. So show us something else. What else do you got?
My favorite Silver Age book, Journey into Mystery 83.
That's a great looking book.
This is a really nice 6.5, and it has white pages. If I didn't have a 9.0 in my personal collection, I'd keep this one just because it looks so nice for the grade.
I was gonna say it does look
like a little drop off at CGC for review.
I was gonna say, is that a book that you think that you could just, crack it open, get it pressed, clean, and they would be worth trying to see if it would get a higher grade? Or
yeah, I mean, and I'm super close to CGC. I'm only 15 minutes away.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna send you all my books. I'm gonna send you my books, and you can just walk them over.
Yeah, I can literally drive up. Now they have like all these new rules where you can't go in the building anymore. But yeah, I can just drive over. They come out, they take my stuff, they put my stuff in the car, and I'm done. It's great.
That is awesome. Now let me ask you, because we're talking about grading and everything.
Yeah.
So when you buy books, are you looking mostly to buy already graded, or you're still looking at raw and then getting them graded?
Usually graded already. I feel like it takes all the guesswork out of it. I'll still buy raw books if the price is right and I know the person, but there's still some sketchy people out there that will try to get one over on you. And there's like I can see a lot of restoration, but cleaning can be hard. And if like something is micro trimmed, it's hard to be like like if it's an obvious trim job, okay. But there's like, if it's like micro trimmed, that's still hard to see. So buying already graded just takes the guesswork out of it. And you're not arguing about the grade that you think it is. It's already been, you know.
Right.
And I'm okay paying a little more for it because when I go to sell it, I'll sell it for a little more.
Right, exactly. Now, see, I'm gonna admit this in front of everybody right now. I haven't personally sent any of my books to get graded. I try to buy graded already just because I feel like I don't want to go through the hassle. I do have books that I do want to send in just because I know. What's that?
Why haven't you?
Laziness.
Yeah.
To be completely honest with you, it's just I've been lazy, but now that I've built up a little more of a collection, I guess a few more key books, or at least what I consider to be key books. I'm thinking now it's time to send, I've also been waiting because I don't want to send in like 1 or 2 books.
Right.
I want to send in, 20 to 30 books, get them all done. That way I can get them all back. Having that said, so I think so what I want to ask you is, I know that when you got started, you've been collecting you started this whole thing about 15 years ago. You really got into it. Now, has your, how can I put this? Your interest or your thoughts of why you got into it, has it changed since you started?
Completely, right? Like I've learned a lot along the way. I've kind of become an influencer in the hobby on Instagram. And I think we talked about this, but like a year and a half ago, I was at a show and someone came up to me and they're like, "Oh, you're on Instagram." Mm-hmm. And it was before I really knew like about Instagram. I think I maybe had, 700 followers or something, if that. And it was weird to me because I was like, wait, you follow me? You know who I am? And I was barely posting books at that time. And I'd already started learning then. And I was already kind of starting in video games. But that was kind of like this pivotal moment for me where I was like, oh, this is really cool. There's like a whole separate hobby of people. Because like I know people from conventions. I've been doing San Diego and New York for over 10 years. So I already have like my core people there. And I was like, this is really cool to have a completely different like market to go into. And I love social media anyways. I think it's such a great thing for our generation. I know it's a double-edged sword, but it's a great way to connect with people and find books and games and just network.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
And so I had this like epiphany where it was like, oh, and my first goal was like, I'm going to hit 1,000 followers. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to hit like 2,000. Now I'm like, now I need to hit 10,000 because when you hit 10,000, you can add like a shop now link in your stories. So guys, tag me and share my page and tell all your friends to go follow me.
You're almost at 10,000 right now, right?
I mean, not yet. I'm only at like 8,300. I'm still far away.
You'll get there in no time though.
Yeah.
You're very, very close to it.
Yeah. Now, and I started doing all these crazy mystery boxes, and that's just been nuts too.
I was just about to ask you about that. So you've been doing these mystery boxes. I've gotten one from you. They're great boxes, guys. You're gonna get some great books. How's that been going for you? And how did that start? What got you started doing a mystery box?
Honestly, I started doing them because I had all these boxes in my house that I'm lazy and I like to list like bigger books because I don't want to do all the work for a $10 book. Sorry if that's offensive to anyone, but my time is valuable. And I'm at a place in my business where I don't want to take the time to page count and list and do photographs to sell a book for $10. And after eBay fees come out, it's like $8. And I'm like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
let me test the waters and put together some. Someone said that your caption is set to test still.
It's at this test. Yeah, I'll be honest, guys. I'll be honest. I have no idea how to change it right now. But it's all right. It says test. Yours says nerdy girl. Mine just
yeah.
You guys know it's
so I started doing like these boxes, and people got them and they're like, oh, this is cool. And I know we talked about this a little bit, but it's fun for me to get to sell to other people, because I know there's a lot of people that come on my page and they're like, everything she has is unattainable. Like, it's really cool and I love seeing all the stuff she has, but like she only lists like all of this super expensive stuff. So I started doing the boxes as a way to move inventory and get rid of boxes in the house. But it's become like bigger because people started opening them and doing reviews and like box openings. And all of a sudden I get like this influx. Right now, don't ask me for a mystery box right now. I'm super overwhelmed. I have like a list of like 175 people that I'm working through right now. And in like the second week of June, I'll open up a new round.
awesome.
I'm working on partnering with a couple of people for supply so I can keep doing them. And eventually I want to get to a point where you can like auto subscribe.
And you'll have, around June, like you said, when you're ready to think, I'm sure you'll post something.
I'll do a post for sure. But it's been really fun just to be able to like work with more people.
Well, I think it's great that you're doing it so that you can reach out to, like you said, the individuals who aren't gonna or aren't able to spend the larger amount, because you are known, your page is known for the high-end books, the books that the keys, that people want to get, which is fantastic. Now, you every now and then you do post on your stories and stuff certain books that you are selling, which are, you're taking offers and stuff. I mean, I know that I think I got Joker 1 through 9 from you, which the books were phenomenal. They were in phenomenal condition. I'm very happy to own them.
Really nice.
And it was the Magic Lasso actually was the one that told me that, and I don't know if you knew this, there was actually another one made, a 10th one, right? Is that right? Magic Lasso, which never made it onto paper.
Really?
Yeah, it's a very interesting story. He was telling me about it. I can't remember the whole details right now, but I think they were talking about, he mentioned that they were talking about releasing it on digital because
that's cool.
Yeah, but like I said, but anyways, I've gotten the books from you, and like I said, every book that I've gotten from you has been fantastic. So guys, definitely go check out her eBay. Definitely go check out Instagram, because there's just so much on there. Having that said, you know what? I'm gonna let's do another book.
Okay.
From what I have,
I think you should do the trivia question this time.
You know what? I will. I'm gonna do one. And it's gonna be something that I discussed with you already. And I was 2 months off, and I think you can figure out what I was talking about. I was 2 months off from what I mentioned to you. But all right, so guys, like I said, these are just some books that I have in my personal collection. They're not. Some of them are what I consider to be good books. Other ones are just books that I have. So once again, they're free.
Gratitude over attitude, right?
Exactly. So we have Falcon and the Winter Soldier #1. All right, it's gonna be the next book. All right, so my question is, and if I already told you this answer to anybody watching, do not answer it. Okay, how long have I been collecting? Just tell me in years, months, whatever your guess is. Tell me what it is. Yeah. I was a little off when I told you though.
Okay, like longer or shorter?
It was longer by 2 months.
Okay. No, you're wrong, Arnie. So
Danielle right away. You're wrong. Wrong.
No. You guys are all wrong so far.
You guys are all wrong.
This is a hard question.
It's a very hard question, but you know what? I think I'll give you guys hints. I'll give you guys hints if nobody guesses it. Actually, let me do the count myself.
I did it. I know how long.
Well, Okay.
Arnie, you're close.
It's a number that you guys just don't think it's gonna be. It's Let me put it this way, guys. It hasn't been very long. I just mind all right, I'm gonna make it easier. Here we go, guys. Ready? It's, believe it or not, it's not.
Oh, Arnie got it right. No, he's right.
You got it?
8
There
months.
you go. 8 months. 8 months, guys. I know it's crazy. Everybody thinks I've been doing this for way longer. Nope. 8 months. 8 months. I just got into it. So, Arnie, send me a message on Instagram letting me know that you won this copy so I can get your info and send it over to you.
Holla.
That was a fun one. I think that was a fun one because I don't think anybody really knew. I think everybody thinks I've been doing it for a lot longer. I've met a lot of great people in the industry. I've made a lot of good friends, and I've managed to build up my Instagram to a
Yeah, that's not bad. Like, grown fast.
So I enjoy it. I just like talking to the community. It's just fantastic. So wait, Magic Lasso, I know you mentioned you were saying that it was, let me look back at the messages here real quick, because I think he went back.
He said that it's a digital release on the Joker.
Okay, so yes, Joker 10 was published in Joker Bronze Age omnibus only. Yeah, so that I thought that was interesting. But I guess I'll never own the actual book, but I guess I can get the omnibus. Anyways, guys. All right. So actually, I did have somebody, Comic Book Ben, did ask a question that they wanted me to ask you.
And guys, if you have questions, start dropping them in the comments.
Yeah, definitely. Start writing them down, guys. So what he wrote was, I like to get advice on how to successfully sell comics.
I get that question probably like 4 or 5 times a week. Yeah. And I don't really know how to answer it, because I guess my first thing is collect what you like and buy what you like. Learn and use the resources that are available for you. There's a website that you can subscribe to that captures different sales from eBay and Heritage, and some dealers report their sales. And it's GP analysis, and it's a nice tool to use. There's Heritage auction archives, eBay sold. When you're looking on eBay, don't just reference what stuff is listed for. Go to completed and sold, because I can list a book for $100,000 and maybe I'd be happy to sell it for 50. Like, people put outrageous numbers on things just to test the waters all the time. Don't ever overpay just so you can say you have it, unless it's something you're collecting and you're holding on to long term, because chances are, especially on a lot of keys, they will come up again for sale. I mean, if it's a super rare book or game in that case, go ahead and pay up for it. I have stuff that if I told you what I paid for some stuff, you'd be like, what the hell, Danielle? But 5 years from now, you're going to be like, damn, girl, you did good.
Right. Arnie, I think your answer to that one is you got to keep an eye out on her.
Watch the market. Right. Watch the market, learn the market. And if you have a gut feeling, go with your gut. Truly.
At least I've noticed, like you said, overpaying, which is a very interesting subject that I've noticed, at least recently, with more of the newer books. So, like the Hell Horizon 3 and stuff like that. That went crazy,
let me jump in here really quick. Can I? Yeah. Do not pay stupid money for all of these new release and variants. I beg of you.
Yep.
Stop the madness. You can buy Bronze Age keys for what you're paying for a book that came out last month. Yep. I cannot do anything post like 1990, and the only books I do that are modern are like Spidey 300, my X-Men ones that I have a bajillion copies and 9/8 of. Like, don't buy the hype. please.
Yep, I completely agree with you. And I've been, I can't say I haven't been at fault of buying and spending more money than I should have on a book just because I'm like, crap, it's gonna be sold out. It's gonna be sold out. But you know what? It's you gotta look at it in a certain way. You gotta look at it as what is your guarantee that that book's gonna be what it is gonna be? There is no guarantee.
Well, and chances are there's gonna be like fucking. I'm sorry if I'm not allowed to say that word.
No, I think you're fine. I think I got like the whole kids. It's not thing on.
Okay, fine, great. I like give disclaimers. I swear worse than a sailor, and I drink a lot of vodka.
Oh yeah.
But like chances are you're not going to get the lone 9.8 or 9.9 or 10. Like these are literally coming off the presses. They're being shipped to people. People are taking them out of the mailer they came in and putting them in a new mailer and sending them to CGC. I guarantee you're not alone in having a 9.8, a 9.9, or even a 10 for that matter.
Now, what is your take on that whole thing on when certain places get these books, them just ramping up the prices?
I think it's shitty. And sorry if you're a comic book store and you're doing that. Actually, sorry, not sorry. Like, you're not paying full price. Stop trying to overcharge people.
Yeah.
It's shitty.
Agree. I agree. It's one of those things where it's kind of like, well, why? I know you're a store.
Right.
I know you're trying to make a profit, but
you're making a profit already because you're not paying full price for the book anyway. You're buying them in mass. And, if there's like maybe 100 copies released and it's a super, super rare variant, exclusive, whatever they're called, then okay, maybe mark it up to double. But stores marking their stuff up to like $100 for a book that just came out that week, I don't like that.
Yeah. And
it's a shitty thing to do.
And correct me if I'm wrong, you're not big into buying new stuff anyways.
Oh, I don't buy new stuff at all. It's not even to it. I don't touch it.
Which, I mean, honestly, it's smart because obviously you're in your business. It's smart because you're buying stuff that have already been proven to be profitable, to have value. You know what I'm saying? Now, a second ago you mentioned that you had a lot of what in 9.8s?
Oh,
maybe I know, but I want to see it, Danielle.
I have like all of the different variant covers for the X-Men 1. These are always in my mystery boxes too, and they're usually pretty nice copies. I'm running out of them, so I'm gonna stop. But I have like all the different variant covers. I'm gonna list them on eBay soon. I have them for like $60 each. If you want one, send me a message. But question, what's her cutoff year in collecting comics? For my personal collection, it stops in the Silver Age. Like, I don't think I have anything that's Bronze Age for personal collection side because it's just not my thing.
Right. Myself, I always have found the older books, the art to be just so much more
better.
Yeah, it's just they're intriguing. I don't know. I feel like the newer art is great, but I feel like the older art is just, I don't know. There's just something about it that just catches my attention.
It was uncensored.
What's that?
It was uncensored and it was raw. Yeah. And it was history, especially in the Golden Age. And I guess for a lot of people, it was an escape, right? Like a lot of the guys that collected comic books and read comic books, in my opinion, were kind of socially awkward and didn't know where their place was in the world. And reading comic books was an escape for them. And it gave them a few minutes to just have peace.
Yeah, no, I agree. Now
they're the fucking brilliant ones who are smart and save these books and are making a lot of money. And now it's like, well, maybe you were socially awkward then, but who's laughing now?
No, it's true. Like I said, I just wish I did things differently as I was getting, I feel like
right? I wish I would have held on to like 10 books, and if I held 10 books, I'd
what would you say is as far as keys, as far as the older books, what would you say is the three hardest books to get your hands on that you personally own?
Action 1.
Yep. Which
Detective 27.
you
Yeah.
own, you own it.
Yep.
Do you have it with you, or it's put away in like a safe
Put
room?
it away. Yeah. Detective 27.
Oh, yep.
And I think my other book that I have that's hard because of the grade is Startling 49. And people always say, oh, it's Bender on the cover because it's like, it looks like Bender from Futurama.
Yeah.
And I think that cover is just brilliant.
Which is another book that's in my list, I'll be honest, Danielle.
Well, you can pick up a low grade copy for under a couple grand.
Really? See,
yeah.
Well, then we're gonna talk after this. Because Futurama is probably one of my favorite. Honestly, it's my favorite.
Okay.
A lot of people know it's one of my favorite shows. I have a ton of stuff that I collect from that show, and that was the one book that always caught my attention because, like you said, it looks like Bender, and I've always said I have to own that book. I'm gonna find a copy. We're gonna talk. We're gonna see what we can do. Maybe you can make a couple of phone calls. Who knows? What's that?
Let me see what I can find for you.
Yeah.
I had someone else ask me about that book.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. Let me answer a couple questions.
Yeah, go for it.
How do I get a Nerdy Girls list to get a box? Watch my page, and in the second week of June, I'll have a sign up post up. Once I've figured out supply for long term, I'm hoping to streamline this and be a lot faster on my turnarounds. Right now, guys, I'm still hand pulling and I'm bagging and boarding and putting these boxes together. So it's very time consuming. Wow, she's a man. That's funny. People always say that. Your thoughts on pressing and cleaning? Always yes. I personally use CCS for all my pressing and cleaning because you can quick press a book for I think $12 or $15, and I like the fact that everything is in-house. I'm not shipping it to two people. I like that I can send it into CGC. They can give it over to CCS. When they're done with it, it goes and gets graded, and I like that streamlined process. But if a book has defects, hell yeah, obviously press it. I mean, I remember when pressing came on the scene, 10 years ago, and it caused a huge controversy. You weren't around for this, Sal, but there was huge controversy around pressing. People considered it restoration. There was a whole group of people called the Network of Disclosure. And Josh Enton is still on. He'll remember all this because it was such a big deal. They were called the NOD, the Network of Disclosure, and they would go after and find and attack people in a public forum for having their books pressed and not disclosing it. And now it's people go out and they look for books, and they look for books that have pressable defects so that they can buy it and upgrade it.
Right.
10 years ago, that was considered taboo. And it was this major, major riff in the hobby for probably a year or two. So I'm glad that people have come to their senses and realized that pressing is not a bad thing. You're making a book look better.
Right.
Cut off year and collecting comics. I think I answered that. I think I don't collect anything past I think the X-Men one is the most modern book I have in my whole inventory, to be honest with you, unless I get something in a collection and it's super high and I just grade it just to sell it.
Right.
Love the X-Men cover. So you don't have my personal collection, definitely not. Amazing Spider-Man 361 is out there. You can find them. And honestly, my personal collection is an action run of 1 to 23. A few other war covers, a cap one. I can fit it into 2.5 short boxes, and that's it. And then I have art because I love original art.
That's awesome.
I have Avengers 1. That's cool. Avengers 1 is a great book. What's the difference between a quick press and a regular press? The amount of time they spend pressing the book. If you have a more expensive book that maybe, and it's a higher value and it maybe needs a little more care, pay the extra money because you want them to take their time on it. Like you want them to be careful. I mean, not that they're not careful, but you don't want it to be so much factory. You want it to be more like, okay, they're taking it out. They're taking more time to look and find the defects, and you get what you pay for, right?
Right.
Where like, if what is the worst comic book in your collection? I don't have a worst book.
They're all keys, guys.
Someone said pressing is a form of restoration. Here we go. Can you explain to me why pressing is a form of restoration? Because restoration is adding something to the book to enhance its appearance. When you're pressing a book, you're simply taking out creases that don't break color and you're making it look better. So I would love to hear your argument on why you would consider it restoration.
Because you're not adding ink, you're not adding any sort of adhesive. It's just pure. Well, it's heat.
You're not adding any pieces. You're not adding any color touch to fill in stuff. You're not reinforcing your staples. You're not replacing the staples. You're literally taking a book, putting it into a press, and you're taking out creases that don't break color. So in no world is that restoration.
Did you? Well, we're waiting for a response. Did you see the question? Let's see. Someone offered to sell me a giant size X-Men 1
for a raw book.
Was that?
I wouldn't pay that for a raw book. You're paying like market, and it's not graded. And what if it comes back an 8.0? What if it comes back a 7.5? I mean, if it's really nice and you have a shot at a 9.0, maybe take the chance.
I guess I think a lot of people have asked me this question. I think you kind of touched on it. Was what was the place? Maybe unless I heard it wrong, where you can find out what books are going for right now, or the best way, the best place.
GP analysis and base sold.
Okay, that's good to know, because even myself, I've had some books where I'm like, I want to sell, and I'm like, where do I find what I can get for them? Because I feel like, if I don't know, I see some people selling some books.
I was attorney for Nod. Of course, he was attorney for Nod. Was that not a giant? Was that not a giant shit show when that was all going on? I always tease him that he always chooses the assholes of the world to represent. Thank you for that answer on X-Men 1. Yeah, no problem. No way. They were attacking people for not disclosing that a book was pressed, when here we are a few years later and pressing is like second nature. People literally go out and hunt books to find ones with pressable defects. And you don't even always have to press a book to upgrade it. Like, it can just be an old label book that they were too harsh on. It was a completely different era. You're right. Like, I had an Amazing Fantasy 15 3.0, and it was beautiful. Like, as soon as I got it, I was like, this should not be a 3.0. And I submitted it on site grading in Chicago, and I was told that I should have it pressed and then resubmit it. And instead, I just submitted it, and it came back a 3.5.
Oh, wow.
And then I was like, well, should I press it and go for a 4? I sold it.
Now, what the one you have right now, what is the grade for that in your personal?
I don't even have an AF-15 in personal.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
Nope.
Which one was it?
Oh, here, though. I took one with me to show on camera.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. I mean, it's the Grail of the Silver Age.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's another great looking book. It really is.
Yeah, this is a really nice looking 6.0. And for some reason, like, this book in 5.0 is in a weird spot in the market.
Really?
It goes back to where I talk about how like those mid-grade books get weird sometimes. Like a 4.5 of Amazing Fantasy 15 just sold for like 66,000, a ridiculous number that doesn't make any sense.
Right.
But 5.0s, there's a book that keeps selling over and over again. I don't know what's going on with it. It's the same copy, and it sold for like 28.
Same copy.
So yeah, it literally is the same copy. And so someone was contacting me about it, and I'm like, listen, like, just because one sells for that price, that doesn't set the market.
Right. I find that so interesting, and obviously there's been a lot of controversy from what I've heard, because people message me all the time, and I really enjoy all the messages you guys send me. I know you guys think that I have way more knowledge than I really do, but I find it interesting because there's been a lot of controversy lately on, value of books because of just what people are putting.
And we're in a weird market right now, right? Like some people really need money, so they're willing to sell stuff for less the market. Some restoration does not involve adding to the book. You're right. There's also cleaning, like chemically cleaning. Like you can dry clean a book and it's not restoration.
Right.
If you put it in chemical solvent, that is restoration, and trimming a book is restoration. So you're right. It's not always adding, but pressing is still not restoration.
This is a really interesting subject, especially like you said. I wouldn't have personally thought that pressing and cleaning it is restoration at all. It doesn't come to my mind. It's because you're not adding to it in the sense of, you're not adding to, like you said, to the artwork. You're not adding to you're
not dipping it in chemical solvent. You're not trimming the edges to make crisp edges. Like,
right.
You're just putting it into a heat press, or some people cold press too. And I have no problem with restoration either. I think sometimes it lets you get a really nice looking book for a fraction of an unrestored price. Made a lot of money a few years ago selling restored books when other people weren't selling them, because there's still a market for them. And I think long term, as prices grow, you're still going to have people that will buy a restored book simply because an unrestored is out of reach. But press is removing defects. It is removing defects by human intervention, but you're just taking out creases. So it's really not restoration.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's definitely completely different. And I mean, in my opinion, like I said, it's
kind of comparing apples to oranges that way.
Right. Let me ask you, Danielle, because and correct me if I'm wrong. When it comes to what you sell and collect and everything else, do you own a lot of or sell a lot of signed books?
No, I don't deal in signature series.
I was just about to say, I don't think I've seen any. Now, is there a reason for that?
Yeah, I think that the premium that gets placed on signatures for, listen, I'm going to break the internet with this. People are going to be so mad at me. But you're going out and you're paying $70, $100, $200 for a signature, and the premium is thousands.
Yeah.
And yeah, your time is worth something if you stood in line to get it, but it's not thousands difference. So I don't touch signature series unless I'm getting it for a steal. I think I've maybe bought a handful of signature series ever. It's just not my thing. More power to you if that's what you collect. We all buy and collect what we like, but it's not my thing.
And all the ones you've gotten have been Stan Lee, right?
I think they were, yeah. And I mean, he's maybe an exception where maybe it adds some value because you can't get it anymore. True. However, he signed everything. That guy was at every single convention. He's the most oversigned artist out there.
Right.
And so the premium that gets placed is just kind of nuts, in my opinion. Pressing. Okay, wait. Do you find, this is a good question from Magic Lasso. Yes, I agree with you. Actually, I've made jokes about people referencing Overstreet, and I'm like, huh? Oh. I don't even still buy an Overstreet price guide anymore. It's just a different market, right? It's a very different hobby than it was even 3 years ago. There have been a lot of new people come in with their own sets of rules and their own collecting style, and it's kind of changed the hobby some.
Yeah, I agree.
But Overstreet is becoming, I think, in my opinion, more obsolete. And that is also partly their fault, though, because they haven't kept up with market trends.
Yep.
And had they kept up with market trends and had the prices reflect what stuff is actually selling for, You're not always right. Had they kept up with market trends and what like real values are, then I think that they'd be much more relevant than they are right now. But pulling out an Overstreet guide is a little silly in these days because we're very technology driven.
Yep. I completely agree with you.
Who else? Okay.
Who else?
I'm just double checking. I'm making.
Yeah. I'm trying to do the same thing. I get, honestly, guys, I'm not ignoring you guys. I get so caught up in my conversation with Danielle that I miss sometimes the questions that go by. Good thing she's paying attention.
Right, I'm trying to at least.
It's because you're a mom, you know. You got that.
I'm used to multitasking. My life is a constant multitask.
I'm over here just concerned that I'm almost done with my drink. So
I know. I feel like I need to tell my daughter, bring me ice.
A refill. I'm gonna train my dog to do it.
That would be awesome. I wish I could train my dog to do that, but
I'm actually surprised she's not barking right now.
No, he was barking before, and I texted my daughter and told her, "Come let him in."
Did you?
Yeah, I did. Like if you're adding water into the paper and using temperature. You're not always adding water into the paper though. Like sometimes you're just putting it into a heat press and that heat is taking it out and you're putting it into, I know when I press books, I don't press very many because I'm not very good at it, admittedly. And I'd rather just pay someone $10 to do it. It's not that expensive. But you're just putting it into a heat press. Sometimes, honestly, I'll put it in and I won't even turn the press on and I'll just let the book sit in there for 24 hours to take out defects and flatten out creases. So you're not always using water. Sometimes it's just heat or cold pressure.
Here's a question for you when it relevant to that. So you said you sometimes, press your own books. How do you feel? Do you feel that individuals, people that buy their own press machine and stuff can do just of a good job as a professional company, or do you think that you're better off just sending them in? Yeah, cinnamon.
That's a hard question to answer because I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. Well, who am I kidding?
The truth, that's what we're here for.
Right. I think that there are some great pressers out there. I've seen some people's results and they're getting really high grades. I don't know if CGC would have obtained the same result or another company. I just think when you're sending it into a company versus an individual, you're more protected.
Right.
And like maybe this person knows what they're doing and maybe they do a kick-ass job and maybe they get you like 2 or 3 grade bumps and that's great. But what if they pop your staple? What if they put a tear in it somehow, putting it into a bag?
Right.
That can happen and you're not protected because they probably don't have proper insurance. Let's be real. So it's kind of like buyer beware, I guess, kind of a situation.
Do you feel that, like, I don't know. I think I would be too nervous to press a book for somebody else. I feel like if I did buy a press, it'd be for myself.
Yeah, just to play around.
Exactly. It'd be for like some books that I have that I want for my personal collection that maybe I'm too cheap to pay CGC to print for me. I don't know. I just feel like I'd be too nervous. But I feel like there's a lot of new, I don't know if I want to say companies, but small companies that are popping up on Instagram. They are advertising pressing and stuff like that.
So many guys out there doing pressing, and try them out if you want to. Test them out on books. I wouldn't recommend your first time sending an expensive book.
It's like anything, right? I feel like you want to work with somebody that has spent the hours doing it. If I bought a press today and I said, hey guys, send me your books. I would hope that you guys wouldn't. I
wouldn't. I'm just saying.
I wouldn't. But I think it's a cool idea. I thought about getting like I said, doing my own books and buying something for it. just I think for me, it's more the curiosity behind it of like, oh, that's cool. I can do it. Let's see what books I
Learning
can.
something new, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll learn a couple of books and whatever, but it's all right. So in your line of business with everything you've been doing with books and video games and everything else, I'm sure you've met some really interesting and awesome individuals.
Yeah.
Who and what, I mean, who have you met and what has made those interactions just so cool?
From like, okay, what kind of standpoint? Like in like
Let's say
really big
in your I know you go to cons. You do cons and stuff. Let's say in your experiences at going to cons.
So I haven't met a lot of celebrities. Just because I never leave my booth. I hate walking around at shows. You can always come find me at my booth, but as much as an extrovert as I am, I don't like weird people touching me and like me. And some of these shows are like legit wall-to-wall people, and it's uncomfortable. So I'd much rather people come find me at my booth. Like I leave if I have to go to the bathroom or if I need to go find food and if someone doesn't bring it to me. And other than that, I am at my booth the entire time. And I don't want to miss seeing people. But I will say, like, one of like in our business, one of our pivotal moments was in the beginning. And John Domayan, who's Torpedo Comics, was just coming into comics and saw a listing on eBay and called, and I was like a hip hop head. I didn't even know who System of a Down was. And it was like this moment where he's like, I want to see your whole list. And he called back and he's like, I'll take everything. And he got almost everything that we had at the time.
Really? That is awesome.
It really jump started. Like we'd already been kind of successful, but that was a pretty big moment because he pretty much bought us out and we started rebuilding at that point. And cool. I'm still friends with him to this day. He's a good friend. He does his own show now. It's really cool to see how his company has evolved because when he first came in, he was buying as many books as he could. He focused on quantity over quality in the beginning.
Right.
And he has changed to, I mean, he still does all that stuff. But he's dabbling in a lot more big books now than he was then. I've made some really great friends through comic books that I wouldn't have if I weren't doing shows and I weren't in this hobby that I'm super thankful for. Some of my closest friends have come out of comics.
I agree.
Yeah. So I'm really thankful for the hobby.
Yeah. Somebody did ask, do you do East Coast cons?
I do New York Comic Con. I'm not going to lie. I'm probably showed out this year. I'm too nervous to go into a convention setting.
I agree.
I just think it's too soon and the world's still kind of crazy and everything is still being shaken out. I can't imagine the Javits Center putting on New York Comic Con since I think they're still being treated as a hospital.
Yep. Which I was bummed out because I know that you had posted something way back, and I was possibly gonna go to your booth in
New Hampshire. Yeah, a friend of mine
in my area.
A friend of mine is doing a one-day show in August, the Little Giant show in Concord, New Hampshire. And I usually go to that show. I'm from near Buffalo, New York, if you missed it. So I used to do a lot of East Coast shows. And I probably do 5 or 6 shows a year. For me to go to a show, it has to be worthwhile just because I have such a small inventory I bring that the show has to be big enough and have people coming in that'll buy my stuff.
Right.
That I try not to do a lot of one-day shows. Jason is an exception because he's a friend of mine that puts on Little Giant show.
Yeah.
I've never set up a Heroes, but I'd like to. I set up at Tampa for the first time, or not Tampa, MegaCon in Orlando for the first time last year, and that was a great show for me. I go out to Torpedo show because it's right before San Diego.
Right,
so
right.
To go right from LA down to San Diego.
Yeah.
So my guess is shows will be canceled for this year, even if they're not now. I think it'll happen gradually as it gets closer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to try to do more shows if I can. And guys, like I've had people say, is it okay if I come up and say hi to you? I'm still a regular person, and it's always okay to introduce yourself to me. Seriously.
Which brings me to my next question. Any interesting, funny interactions with, I guess, just people coming up to your booth?
Yeah, I've had someone come up to me like shaking.
Really?
And they're like, oh my gosh, you're nerdy girl. And I'm like, yeah, Danielle. I'm like, it's really nice to meet you too. But I guess I don't always realize the presence I have and the way people view me. Because to most people, I'm just this girl who's been doing this for a while that's always kind of created like this separate path of kind of being an alpha female in a male world. Like I think I'm the only high-end comic book dealer.
I don't think I've seen another female in your league. I mean, I don't want to say the wrong thing, but
in my league or my position that's doing
exactly.
Yeah, I feel like I've kind of changed the game a little. What is the weirdest comic book? Listen, Sydney. Let's not. Let's keep it PG.
Wait, what? Oh.
I dig it. I know that I'm a weird, I know. I'm a cute girl who sells badass comic books.
You know, you have a presence definitely in the industry. You know, you have this when people hear your name, they automatically think, you know, this big presence in the industry, which is fantastic. You know, and you obviously have spent the time and you worked at it to build what you have. I mean, it's not like I said, and I think I mentioned this to you before. I think a lot of people have these questions that they ask you about getting into what you're doing, and it's not something that you can do overnight. It's not like
it takes time. You're not going to come in and in 2 months, all of a sudden you have an empire.
Exactly.
And the other thing I'll say when you're coming in is know that your reputation is everything. And treat people fairly. Don't try to I say all the time, like, you always have to leave a little bit of meat on the bone when you're selling something. Like, don't get me wrong. If I have a book that I know is like upgradable, or like my Journey to Mystery 83, it has white pages and it looks really nice for the grade. So I'm not willing to sell that at a discount. But in a lot of cases, like, it's nice to leave a little bit of room on the table for the next person, because if you're constantly trying to get every single penny out on every book, it doesn't work because the cycle doesn't continue. Like, you need to let the cycle keep going.
Yep. I agree.
Don't have a YouTube page. I keep saying I need to do one, and I keep talking about it. I do this thing on Instagram where every Sunday I go live and I just answer questions and we just talk and I drink. So I do that. Eventually I will segue into a YouTube page. It's something I'm constantly knowing I have to do, but I have to figure out topics that I want to cover each week before I dive into that. And I feel like a lot of YouTube channels are more new stuff and box openings, and I don't really do either of those. So maybe I'll create a completely different type of YouTube.
A whole new
version of YouTube.
Exactly. Do you collect pulps?
No, but I hope to eventually, and it's something I've been toying with because I think the art on them is so good that it's definitely something. Like, the covers on some of those pulps are brilliant and they're not expensive, so I've thought about it. I just haven't done it yet.
Right.
Starter book. It's a good long-term investment. Maybe Iron Man 55. Nova 1, maybe. X-Men 94 in mid-grade. Giant Size X-Men 1. Something like that.
Yep.
What is the best kids comic book? What classifies a kids comic book?
I was just thinking that.
Like what? Can you explain your question better? A lot of bronze books are under. Yeah, but there aren't. I would go more like X-Men 94, Iron Man 55, books like that. A Giant Size X-Men 1. Oh, FF 52. If you get a low grade copy, that's a good one. Maybe like X-Men 4. I know, but I have like ADD. Sunday Heat. I don't know your name, so that's why I'm calling you Sunday Heat. Care Bears? No, none of that. No Care Bears, no Rainbow Bright, no Power Rangers, none of that. Marvel Spotlight. That one's okay. I think Marvel Spotlight 12 is better. Amazing Adventures 10. All great books if you want to pick up a book under 500. Those are all good choices. All right, guys, a couple more questions. Hey, do another giveaway.
I do have another one. All right, guys, you have to come up.
Him on task.
You have to come up with a question, though. Well, I'm letting you answer the questions.
All right,
you know, I'm kind of sitting back. So I'm gonna show you guys the book. So we got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Jenica #1. All right, guys, right here, Danielle's gonna come up with the question. Make it a good one.
What is Robin's Batman sidekick original first appearance?
Ooh.
Don't Google that shit, guys.
Everybody was on Google before you said that.
They were, I know.
You know who's, if Magic Lass was still on here, he knows those types of questions. Come on, guys, who's gonna get it? Who can Google the fastest? Anyone?
Did someone say it? Oh, good job, Mighty Comics. You win.
There you go, Mighty Comics. Go ahead and send me a message on Instagram, and this book is yours.
Oh, look, I have it. I'll show.
You have it. What else do you have? Show us everything you have. You brought with you. That is a cool book.
So great. It's so low grade, but I guess it goes back to, do you want a low grade copy or a high grade restored?
That doesn't even look like it should be a 1.
No, it's a 1.
It's a 1. What else you got for us? Hulk #1. That is such a cool book.
It is stunning.
That's a good grade too.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Stunning. I showed you the AF-15.
You did?
FF-48, great book.
Yes.
Silver Surfer.
I had a chance to get that book a while back for a good price, and I, for some reason, didn't take it, and I should have.
Yeah, you should have. And then I'll show you the games I have too. I have like 2 more books.
I was gonna say,
I don't have Sonic the Hedgehog comic book, but I do have a sealed first Sonic for Sega Genesis.
That's awesome.
House. Batman 1.
Oh, that is a cool book. Now, what will that book go for? And a 4.0 in that grade?
150.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Now, a lot of these books, I like for that book specifically, is that the highest grade you have? Is that the only copy you have? Or
I have a restored copy that I own with a friend. Listen, guys, I have so many She-Hulk ones. I have a bunch listed on eBay. Or if you want to do one privately, message me because I have a ton of She-Hulk ones.
Take advantage. Send her a message on Instagram.
And then let me show you. I have 2 more games I brought with me. I was going to say, if you follow me, what's my favorite video game of all time? But I don't know if people would get that.
I think I know it.
legit the best game ever. Debate me.
Yep, that's it.
Okay, so this is really cool because this is a real first appearance. So let me teach you guys something really fast.
Yeah.
And Super Mario, right, Mighty Comics knows Super Mario 3. On video games, the first release of Super Mario 3, the Bros, is over his hand. So it's the left brow.
Yeah.
And the other ones, it's here over his hat and in the
really?
So that's how you tell a first appearance. Super Mario 3 is it's a left brow or a right brow. And then arguably for some people, if you ask them, the best Super Nintendo game, Chrono Trigger. I think Super Mario World is better personally.
I have to agree with you on that one.
I guess this is the best RPG, which I never really got into. So maybe that's why I didn't really play RPG games.
Right.
Still don't. I do bust out my Nintendo Classic though, and I get down on it. So those are the games I have with me.
Now, the Super Mario 3, that was a 9.2. What would that game go for since it's the first appearance?
Let's find out. I just sent a 9.0 to Heritage for their upcoming auction. Tech 40.
Really?
What's Tech 40? Tech 38 was first Robin. You should know that. I like Super Mario 3. Me too. Sunday, I have them 9.0, 9.2, 9.4, 9.6, 9.8 for She-Hulk 1. So if you want one, let me know. What is your favorite 80s comic book in your collection? None, because there are none.
None. She's harsh, guys.
I'm not.
It's got to be before like
a vintage collector.
Exactly.
I don't do modern stuff. It doesn't sell for enough. But collect what you like, and I respect everyone's opinions on what they want to collect and buy.
Well,
you just ask my opinion on values. I won't know.
Exactly. That's the great thing about collecting, right? Is the fact that you collect what makes you happy. Now, if you're looking to make a profit, then that's different.
Oh, completely different. Like, go vintage if you want to make more money.
Yeah.
Honestly, because it's always going to sell for more because there's less of it available.
Yep, I agree. Hey, guys, before I forget, also, anybody that won any of the books tonight, I'll be sending you guys. I don't know if you guys seen my Instagram page. I have a lot of, I have 3 different logos that I got made. I'll be sending you guys some stickers. I'm also going to be selling, I don't know if you guys could see my shirt, my sweatshirt. It's my logo on there. So anybody interested, let me know. I can get you guys a sweatshirt as well. I'll be selling those as well. I had to throw that in there. You know, I can't have you just be the only one making money, Danielle.
I have merch coming. I'm working on it.
That'll be cool.
Yeah. I'm thinking Nerdy Girl Nation, and I heard Nerdy Girl Comics.
So what are you thinking of making? What are you getting done? Shirts. Awesome.
Shirts. Yeah.
So I get one free, and then
I'll consider it. Nerdy Girl Nation, guys, good, right?
Was that?
He said, "Oh, Nerdy Girl Nation." I know, it's kind of good, right?
It is.
All right. Does anyone else have any questions?
Any other questions, guys? We've had a blast here. It's been awesome. I'm sure you guys got a lot of info.
Oh, I love Family Guy. So funny. So inappropriate.
What do you think of Rick and Morty?
Oh, I don't really watch that one.
You don't watch that one?
My daughter does. I don't really watch it. She also watches, what's that one on Netflix? Disenchanted.
Yeah, that's also from the creators of Futurama, right?
Yeah, I like Futurama too. That's a funny show.
That's a great show. Favorite show by far.
Guys, I have one question for you. Then I'll probably go. What do you think is the best video game of all time? With the Marvel Comics universe going to the stars, what's the best investment? What's that mean? What's going to the stars mean?
Yeah.
Do you know what that means?
No,
you're so welcome. I I don't. Are you referring to like Guardians of the Galaxy? Super Attack Mobile? Okay. You can pick one of those up for not a lot of money. I don't know what that means. Going to the like Doom is the best game of all time. There are people who say that. I can't knock you. I've heard that before. Miss Pac-Man. Oh, Miss Pac-Man is so good. I have a flat top video game table in my house, and I still get down on Miss Pac-Man.
You guys, I think if you guys follow my Instagram, you guys know I'm a huge fan of. I have 3 of the arcade 1-ups machine.
Yeah, yeah.
And I love those things. I love them. I love them.
Second week in June, I'll have a new sign up for mystery boxes.
They're great, guys. So keep an eye out on her page to see when she's gonna release them, because they are some great mystery boxes.
Thanks. To the stars, meaning, oh, so was I right? Like Guardians of the Galaxy themed? Probably Silver Surfer 1, FF48. That book's a great book to have, period. Yeah. I think FF48, 49, 50, that whole trilogy is great to have. Be my opinion. Okay. Are we ready?
We are ready. Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Danielle, thank you so much for being here with us and answering all the questions and showing us all those amazing books and games. Hey guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. All right, you, Danielle, stay there.
Okay.
Bye.